And welcome, Ms. Langston, distinguished guests, parents, fellow educators, students of Armwood High School. Thank you for attending this ceremony to pay tribute to those their lives were lost on the day of infamy, September 11th, 2001. September 11th, 2001 is a day that forever sticks in the minds of most Americans. But for many young people, 9/11 is no longer a current event, but a historical one. How do we teach this event that has forever altered so many aspects of American life, from our military conflicts to persistent religious phobias and intrusive surveillance? At present, 9/11 sits on the edge of history and the current event, with most students being born after the event, but with many families still being affected. These might seem like difficult issues to discuss with students, especially when considering the emotions surrounding such a tragic event, but it is one that must be retaught again, again, and again. Why? Why might you ask? If you don't know your history, that piece of history will reoccur. I ask the students to pay attention to the sequence of events that will be read off, because 20 years ago, we all found in different ways, in different places, but all at the same moment, that our lives would be changed forever. The world was loud with carnage and sirens, and then quiet with missing voices that would never be heard again. These lives remain precious to our country and infinitely precious to many of you. Today, we remember your losses, we share your sorrow, and we honor the men and women who have loved so long and so well. Our first responders, fellow citizens, our service members that were lost on that day. You will never be forgotten, and we will continue to tell the story of heroism for generations to come. Thank you, and God bless America.
Good morning. Thank you all for attending this solemn and honorable ceremony. This is the 21st year anniversary of a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist attacks to our nation. My name is Cadet Major Brendan Crandall, and I have the honor of leading today's ceremony. Assisting me today is our Battalion Executive Officer, Cadet Captain Aiden Ruiz, and our Cadet Sergeant Major, Patrick Wall. The flag detail for today's ceremony is Cadet Staff Sergeant Andrew Lizardo, Cadet Corporal Santos, Cadet Corporal Joshua Tuze, and Cadet Captain Jamie Lee Shellhorn. The national anthem will be played by the Armwood Hawk Band. Please stand for the presentation of the colors and playing of the national anthem, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Cadet Sergeant Major Patrick Wall.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will have multiple representatives place wreaths in honor of those lost on the tragic events of this day. We will also be placing a wreath at the front of the school to honor the fallen. Oh, you can take your seats. Representing our police department is our high school resource officer, Master Deputy Beth Baker. Representing our fire department, Fireman Michael Ruiz. Representing United States Marine Corps, Staff Sergeant Jean Joseph. Representing United States Army, Staff Sergeant Richard Brown. And Miss Diana Langston, our principal, will be placing a wreath for all the civilian lives lost.
I will now read the timeline of tragic events that occurred that day. 7:59 a.m. American Airlines Flight 11 takes off from Boston Logan International Airport, bound for Los Angeles International Airport. 8:14 a.m. Flight 11 is hijacked. 8:14 a.m. United Airlines Flight 175 takes off from Boston Logan, also bound for Los Angeles. 8:20 a.m. American Airlines Flight 77 takes off from Washington Dulles International Airport, also bound for Los Angeles. 8:42 a.m. United Airlines Flight 93 takes off from Newark International Airport, bound for San Francisco International Airport. 8:42 a.m. Flight 175 is hijacked. 8:46 a.m. Flight 11 crashes into the North Tower of the World Trade Center between the 93rd floors and the 99th floors. 8:50 a.m. Flight 77 is hijacked. 9:03 a.m. Flight 175 crashes into the South Tower of the World Trade Center between the 77th and the 85th floors. 9:28 a.m. Flight 93 is hijacked. 9:37 a.m. Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon. 9:59 a.m. The South Tower collapses. 10:03 a.m. Flight 93 crashes into field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. 10:28 a.m. The North Tower collapses.
Today we gather to remember those whom we cherish so dearly, the lives of great men and women of this nation. For many of us, a loved one was lost, a friend, or maybe even a colleague. But nevertheless, many good people lost their lives that day. A terrorist organization by the name of Al-Qaeda coordinated a series of attacks against our nation. The events transpired resulted in the deaths of 2,977 people and the injuries of more than 6,000 others. On September 11, 2001, at 8:45 a.m., American airline Boeing 767 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Then, 18 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 175 collided into the South Tower. Later, a third plane was flown into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. United Airlines 93 was a passenger flight that crashed into a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. The passengers on board overpowered the hijackers, thwarting their plan. Unfortunately, there were no survivors. Now, a word from our Command Sergeant Major.
A day that will forever live in infamy. 9/11 had an important reaction out of the U.S. When the Twin Towers ultimately collapsed, it was due to the damage sustained from the impact and the resulting fires. There were many lost through different situations on this day, almost all 4 crashes being in different locations. In total, the 3rd and 4th attacks killed nearly 3,000 people from 95 nations. 2,753 were lost at the Pentagon in Virginia, and 44 people were lost on Flight 93 in Pennsylvania. This tragedy was a day, I believe, that most people won't forget and will always remember where they were when this attack happened. To cope with the event, people turned to their faith to help them make sense of the unbelievable incidents that took place on September 11, 2001. With this day of sorrow, there was a day to remember when they started construction in 2006 on the remarkable 9/11 Memorial. It was built and then finished by 2011 in New York to save the memory of the people we lost. I will now be followed by the battalion executive officer.
Two flight attendants from American Airlines Flight 11 calmly relayed information about the hijackers that would help the FBI in the investigation. A recorded phone call submitted to ABC News is as follows. Okay, my name is Betty Young. I'm number 3 on Flight 11. And the cockpit is not answering their phone. And there's somebody stabbed in business class. And we can't breathe in business class. Somebody got mace or something. Telling someone at the American Airlines Reservation Center, explaining everything that had taken place just like Amy Sweeney did the same. During her call, she was disconnected and called back. However, this time, she hears a familiar voice. She had explained everything. Despite the situation, these brave individuals spoke calmly. It took at least 20 minutes to give all the information to the American Airlines Reservation Center before the plane had hit the North Tower. If it hadn't been for these 2 brave flight attendants, the FBI would not have been able to have a jump start on the investigation. Another fallen hero named Luis Alvarez, who served in the Vietnam War as a sergeant in the Marine Corps and served 20 years in the NYPD, was a first responder on 9/11. That saved many lives of dying in the flames of the collapsing building. Alvarez recently passed away at the age of 53 from cancer, which was linked to these 3 months that he was at the World Trade Center searching for survivors that remains his fellow soldiers. Alvarez was a father who spoke about September 11th victim compensation fund at the House of Judiciary Subcommittee in the Washington, D.C. In his speech, a phrase that captivated the committee was, and I quote, "You made me come here the day before my 69th round of chemo. I'm going to make sure that you never forget to take care of the 9/11 first responders." I will now be followed by our battalion commander who will conclude today's ceremony.
We call upon the American people to remember how we all felt on September 11th. To remember not only the unspeakable tragedy of that day, but how we came together as one nation. Unity of purpose and unity of effort is the way we as Americans should thrive and continue to move past this terrible catastrophe. In conclusion of today's ceremony, we would like to thank all our servicemen and women, past and present, for serving our great country. We would also like to extend our thanks to cadet staff, color guard, the Hawk Band, and first responders for providing their time and effort to bring remembrance to this day. Thank you, and may we never forget our fallen heroes. This concludes our ceremony, and enjoy the rest of your day.